Stay tuned for part 2 of Kiki's journey to meet Steve Perry.
Gina also talked about Steve's absence. She went into that. You know, she said, I didn't think we would ever see or hear from Steve Perry again. I think all of us, or many of us, felt like that. And even though she was so happy about his return when he announced that an album was coming out, again, I felt the same way Gina did. Was it real? Was he really going to put an album out? Was he really going to make an appearance again? When he did, she said she cried, and she was so touched over the songs from his Traces album. You know, this was another point other people had spoken about. She said even though his voice changed, it didn't matter because it was still the same amazing feeling that you got from Steve when he sings those songs. And I totally agree. You know, when Traces came out, many people, I would say a great majority of the people loved the album, but you had your critics. Oh, his voice doesn't sound the same. It's not the same thing. Why is he bothering? Are you serious right now? First of all, again, music is what we know Steve Perry for. He was gone for 23 years and he came back out with an album. So 23 years later, do you really think anyone is going to sound the same 23 years later? No, they're not going to sound the same. But I gotta tell you, he sounds pretty dang good. He really, truly, honest to God does. And I'll get into that in a few minutes too. Then I met, also at my table, was Leah from Panama City. So how she found out about her tickets, she follows Steve on Instagram, and so she immediately said, well, I'm going. I'm going. And now Leah's here all by herself, flew in from Panama City, didn't care, just bought the ticket, and here she is in Providence. And the exact time that Leah bought her ticket was at 9:47 a.m. By 10 o'clock, sold out. Everything was sold out. I asked Leah, what is it about Steve that, you know, you love so much? Now, Leah said that when she was a young child, she started to play the piano, and she's a beautiful singer. She sang us some Journey songs. We were all kind of blown away. Her dad has a TV production company in Panama. He wanted Leah to become a VJ. You know, here's MTV. Oh, Leah, you can do this. She really should have done it. What moved Leah about Steve Perry and his music? Well, she said it was the soulful lyrics. They just touched her heart, and she was a piano player and she was a singer, so everything about Journey and Steve Perry just connected with her. It touched her. Now, she had never seen Journey when she was young. I mean, I couldn't go to a lot of concerts when I was young because I didn't have no money. I had no money to go to concerts, kids, even to sit in the nosebleed seats. Or if you had a few bucks, tickets sold out so fast back in the day that you just couldn't get them. Leah did have the chance to see Journey perform when Steve Augeri was the lead singer. There he is again, Steve Augeri, and I heard his name so much today. It was awesome. Journey fans, oh my gosh, hardcore. Love them all. Love everyone I connected and met with today. And I also have to point out that Leah, because of me, she put coconut oil in her hair because one of my videos I had talked about walking around and going out to eat with coconut oil in my hair, and it was kind of embarrassing because I had these white chunks. But what I did was this weekend, someone told me to get coconut oil, you know, scrape it out of the container, mix it up, and then add some olive oil to it. Sit it on your head, you know, get it all over the place, and let it sit there. So I did. This is the second weekend number 2 that I did it for the entire day, and I slept overnight with it on. I did go out, and then when I left the restaurant, I realized why people were staring at me. I had oil dripping down my back. Kind of embarrassing, but I gotta tell you, my hair is soft. And she said, oh my gosh, it makes your hair so smooth. It really does work. So you're welcome. And everyone, go ahead and get some coconut oil and slather it in your hair and embarrass yourself. And Leah also went to an event in Seattle where Steve was at and got to meet him there. And she also met a bunch of Journey friends too. So again, this is a really tight-knit group. And I'm happy to be kind of intermingling my way into this group to just be able to talk about Steve Perry. Then, seated to the right of me at my table was Danielle. She flew in, guys, from San Francisco. Perfect perfect, right? San Francisco. How much more amazing can you get than that? Now, so I said, you know what? What made you come to this event? You're flying across the country. Well, she said, first of all, I had no idea where Providence, Rhode Island was. My husband had to show me on a map where I was going. Yep, all across the country. This is the extent of how nice people can be. So I said, did you come here all by yourself? She says, well, my friend is with me. He's not into Steve Perry. I didn't think it was fair to buy him a ticket to just come with me because first of all, I know he wouldn't appreciate it. And second of all, I just didn't want to take a ticket away from a real Steve Perry fan. And I just said, you know what? How nice is that? She literally showed up at the event by herself, like Leah did, was just so unselfish to not take a ticket away from someone else just to have her friend be with her. Danielle, you rock. You totally, totally rock. And it was a pleasure meeting you, like everybody else. Danielle also said that when she was 14, that's how she connected with Steve Perry and Journey, but then Steve Perry left Journey, and here comes Steve Augeri again, and she did get to see him with Journey, and also Arnell. Steve Augeri, you know, of course you know you've made an impact. Just a few people that I spoke with today mentioned Steve Augeri and how people love you, Steve Augeri, as well. Just God, so fun and so, I spit and I'm sorry about that. I love today. So what about the food? So they had a really nice spread. They had fruit salad, scrambled eggs, bacon, and I did not eat bacon because I was so afraid that the bacon, my luck, I would have a piece stuck right there, not even in the center, like we're talking these two teeth right here, it would be stuck right there and I would not be able to get it out because I didn't have room in my purse for dental floss because I always carry dental floss. You have to have dental floss, especially when you're eating things that are dark in nature, because if they get stuck in your teeth and you're smiling away at people and they're like, oh my God, I can't, and they don't tell you, that's not nice at all. Always tell somebody when something is in their teeth. I always, even if I don't know the person, I'm like, just go like that. Because you know what? It's not nice. You got to tell someone, do your deed today. Tell someone if they have something in their teeth. Do me a favor. Do yourself a favor. Do the universe a favor. Please always tell someone they have something in their teeth. Thank you. That was my public service announcement for the day. And they also had the little potatoes, but they weren't really little. They were kind of big. And they had, what else did they have? They had something, oh, they had fish. I need the fish. I didn't eat much of anything. Listen, I'm just going to be real here. I took food, but I didn't eat it. I didn't take a lot of food, so I did not waste it because my husband ate mine anyway. He does that.
Yum, 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 yum.
I was just too nervous to eat. And then the mimosa, it was really yummy. I didn't drink the whole thing. I was just too focused on the day. I could not eat. I could not drink. But people were eating and drinking. And it looked fabulous. Very, very nice spread there. And what Light Rock 105 did was they also put a video together. Everyone had the opportunity to send in pictures of loved ones that they had lost to cancer or of loved ones who are currently battling with cancer, or just pictures of themselves or whatever. And they just put together something really, really nice, and that played throughout the event. And I thought it was really neat. Steve came out, and of course everyone, I think I lost my breath for just a moment when he came out. I stopped breathing. I'm not gonna lie. EMT was not called, but there was a little bit of, there was that. And then Heather sits down with Steve, and I have to say the interview was so well done, and Steve loves to share his stories. I loved when Heather said, don't ever be afraid to ask the question. I kind of try to live my life like that now. Later on in life, I try to be more bold and ask. You have to go for the ask, right? As I've been saying for a long time, if you don't ask, you don't get. So she asked and got Steve Perry to host this amazing event today. So everyone stood up when Steve came out. It was, like I said, such a great moment of him being in the same room. For me anyway, it was just magnanimous. I really don't know how else to put it. It was emotional. I didn't cry. It felt good to just be in the presence of Steve Perry. Just because, as I'm sure like all of you, the music just means so much. And as all of these people that I have spoken to already, and there's more, the music makes our life happy. The music gives us joy. The music gets us through hard times, brings us through our happy times. It means everything. So Steve Perry let us know that his dad's family was actually from Providence. Who the heck knew, right? Everybody knows Steve is Portuguese. He shared a story. His grandmother, and I guess his family, I mean, we're talking long time ago. They used to kill the cows, and his grandmother used to wash the cow guts and I guess hang them on hangers, coat hangers. Yeah. And she would make blood sausage. Now, if I am saying this incorrectly, again, I do apologize. I guess that's called Marsala. I'm thinking chicken Marsala, but that's not the same thing. Blood sausage and chicken Marsala, two totally different things. And Steve said that he used to eat the Marsala on French bread with cheddar cheese. Now, right there was my connection with Steve because I love cheese. I am a cheese hound. If I could make my own cheese, I would make it, but probably not because I don't think I could get it as good as like Cabot. Cabot cheese, extra sharp, the red and black label, the checkered label. Oh my gosh, I eat that stuff every day. I do. I've told you before, my arteries, you probably can't even see out of them. They're so tiny because I like cheese. And I like pastry, which we will get to in a few moments. Thank you very much. Let me look at my notebook because see, I took notes today. I wrote things down. I did not record. I'm exhausted. But anyway, I thought this was kind of incredible. So remember last week, I tried Portuguese food in honor of Steve coming to Rhode Island. Well, he said the food that he misses the most is caçoila. That's what I just ate. For him, I ate caçoila last week. Look at that. For Steve Perry. What a coinkydink. I think that him and I are soul people now because he likes cheddar cheese and caçoila. That's it. And Steve did talk about how he met his girlfriend, Kelly Nash, and Patty Jenkins. She wrote and directed Wonder Woman. Steve loves editing. He loves the studio stuff. Patty was doing a Lifetime movie about cancer survivors, so she had people who were dealing with the disease at that time in the film. I guess they were editing. Steve saw Kelly and he said, whoa, stop, who is that? Oh my gosh, you guys, you know, all you Steve Perry fans, you know this story, and if I'm not saying it right, I apologize. He saw her on the screen. He said that he gave Patty, well, Patty of course knew his email address because she worked with him, but he said to give his email address to Kelly. And I guess a little over a week went by. Kelly didn't contact him. He's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then I guess they finally connected. They went out to dinner and they were inseparable ever since. The cool thing is that Kelly didn't even really know who Steve Perry was. Can you imagine a world you don't know who Steve Perry is? But it's probably why they were so in tune with each other that she didn't know who he was. And Steve also shared that him and Kelly believed that together they could find a cure for cancer. He said today his love for her has never changed. It's still the same. It's still there. It's still present. Of course, you know, how could it not be? And he also shared that one day when Kelly was getting chemo, the nurse that was with them, Kelly said to the nurse, hey, do you know the song Don't Stop Believin'? The nurse said, well, yeah, of course I do. So she said to Steve, sing it to her. Just how he shared these stories. Now, I think a great story that Steve shared, Don't Stop Believin'. Now, Heather asked him, how do you feel when, you know, stadiums full of people start singing and screaming, Don't Stop Believin'? And he said it's just an overwhelming feeling. How could it not be? And we know that we've heard that song over and over again. It never, ever gets old. We've heard it in movies. We've heard it on TV shows. It was played at the end of The Sopranos when they ended. I mean, Don't Stop Believin' is just an anthem that still carries on to today. A company that reached out to, I guess, Steve and the guys to use the song Don't Stop Believin' was Viagra. Can you believe that? He's like, no, you're not using my song for that. Bad visual of that. How would what would the commercial? Those Viagra commercials are ridiculous. I haven't seen one in a long time, but like, remember the one with the guy fishing and he's by himself and it's a Viagra commercial? Like, there's no one else around. What's happening with the guy in his fishing pole? I don't know. I don't want to know. But good thing they didn't let Viagra use Don't Stop Believin' for their campaign. Bad idea. Exciting news from Steve Perry land is that he did talk about the Christmas song that he is releasing, and he did play it, and it's called Silver Bells. Played it, and I'm sitting there and I'm listening to it, and it immediately strikes you as, you know what? He is such a different person than when Trace's was released. You hear just a different sense of happiness. You just hear, I can't explain it, but that's what I wrote down. I wrote down happiness. It sounds like a happy song. Now, Silver Bells, you know, it's Silver Bells. It's kind of like even, not monotone, but kind of like an even keel type of song. But he really gives it a nice, not edge, because Silver Bells is not edgy. It's just not. But he gives it a nice, happy, peppy feeling to it. And then we know last year he released Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Well, a new remastered edition is coming out for this year, and it sounds crisp and just better. Because I do remember when the song was released last year, you know, I thought, okay, it's Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. It was nothing about it, if that makes any sense. But this version that's coming out again, definitely take a listen to it. Just sounds better. Now, I think for me, the greatest moment of today was when Steve literally sang a whole verse of Open Arms. And then everyone in the audience started to sing along. Anyone who says that his voice is not there anymore, I was there in the room. Like, I don't know how many people were there today, maybe a couple of hundred. So it was a small room, very small space. There was no auto-tune going on. There was no music behind him. He sounds amazing. Amazing. That did bring a little tear to my eye. I won't lie about that. That to me was the highlight of the Steve Perry event. Yes, meeting him was absolutely amazing, but him singing after all of these years and just watching him speak and listening to him just tell us a little bit of his story was, I think, key to what today was all about. It was about raising money, and it was about seeing Steve Perry. Let's face it, there was someone there from New Zealand, Michigan, again, San Francisco, Panama City. People were there from all over the world today to see Steve Perry. So they also got to hear him sing a little piece of just one of the many songs that him and Journey are most famous for. Oh my God, look at that. Oh yeah. Can you see that? Can you just see that? I don't want it to fall on the floor because I would really be mad. This is called a Bismarck. So the Steve Perry pastry tribute right now, I'm eating a Bismarck because I'm hungry. I'm really not that hungry, but I'm gonna eat this. This is all whipped cream, and I just kind of like the name Bismarck. I thought that was fun. Oh God. That is, I wish I could swear right now. That is so good. And it's like in a donut, and oh, there's jelly inside of there, so it does look like a donut, and it tastes like a donut, but it's better than a donut. You don't get this at the donut shop. From Browley's Bakery here in Coventry, and I bet you any money, Steve could eat half. He could so if he was sitting here and I was interviewing him, he could eat this half, and I would continue to eat this half while he's talking to me. Just like Heather said, never say never, girls. Someday he will sit in this chair and we will chat, because you know what? There's a lot to talk about. He's got a lot of stories left. I think he's got a lot of stories that we just don't know about. I think while I eat my half of the Bismarck and he eats the other half of the Bismarck, we could talk about his stories. What do you think? No, back onto the event. I need some water. That was really, oh yeah, that is scrumdelicious. So we were talking about Steve Perry singing Open Arms, right? He went up there. He went to the stratosphere, and girls, his voice is so amazing. Eating a Bismarck just makes you feel better. It just does. So get yourself a Bismarck this week, okay? Or a jelly donut with a lot of whipped cream on it. And then they did a drawing. They did a bunch of drawings. Oh my goodness. I won nothing, I will tell you. But Gina's sitting next to me. This was insane. At the end of the interview, Steve Perry announced that he was going to now give away 2 45s, one red, one green, of test presses. I think it was of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. I could be wrong. And then he would sign them. Gina, sitting next to me, won one of the records. Her husband's crying his eyes out, and he was thanking their parents up in heaven. He said, oh, they definitely helped us to win this today, and they definitely got a bunch of raffle tickets, so they totally deserve to win. I'm so happy that Gina won. She was so thrilled. I said, what did you say to him when you went up there to get your record? She goes, I don't know. I mean, that's what it is when you come in front of somebody like that. It's so overwhelming sometimes. You just don't know what to say, and we'll get to when when I met him. But anyway, so let's talk about Steve's daily schedule. I loved this. I'm like, oh my gosh, a day in the life of Steve Perry. So he said that what he does is he goes to bed between 9 and 9:30. So when all of us lay our heads on our pillows between 9 and 9:30, we'll know that Steve Perry is doing the same thing. Yeah. He doesn't go out partying in bars. He used to go out partying in bars. He doesn't do that anymore. He gets up between 4 and 4:30. He's out the door by 6:30, has breakfast with friends at 7, and he's home by like 9:30, and he's in the recording studio. Like, is he not a rock god or what? Really? He is just in this for the love of music is just driving his existence. God, I just love him more than I knew I did. I do. Steve also talked about how music just represents his life and how the changes throughout his life has been represented in the music that he's written and performed. It makes sense, right? And it was great to hear him talk, great to hear him just lay it out on the line. And I can understand, you know, after the event was over and as he was talking, even as he was talking, I was thinking about it. It was nice to not have a cell phone, even though I was writing the entire time. But it was nice to just listen to him and just stare at him. Really hear what Steve Perry was saying. I did enjoy that aspect of it a tremendous amount. It was totally awesome meeting Amy Ponce from Light Rock 105. What a sweetheart. And then I was in the bathroom. A lady said to me, "Are you Kiki?" And I said, "Yes, I am, and I have to tinkle." She said, "My name's Lori, and oh my gosh, how are you?" And I said, "I still have to tinkle, but it's so nice to meet you." So I tinkled, and Lori tinkled, and then we sat down, and then Lori brought her friend Maureen over, freaking hysterical, because Maureen's talking about, "Oh my gosh, you didn't know what you were gonna wear. How are you gonna wear your hair?" And I went out, and I was out until 11 o'clock Friday night trying to figure out what to wear, and I went to store after store after store, and I said, "I have to return a bunch of stuff that I didn't wear." And she said, "Oh my God, I have to do the same thing." So Maureen and Lori from Schenectady, New York. That's a ride, because that's what, near Albany? I drove to Albany once. I don't know if I would do it again. It was, well, all right, listen. So we had my 3 kids, me, my husband, and then their significant others in a van that we rented because it was too big for a car. My car is way too small. And it was a long ride. It was a long ride. I can't do that. I need a Bismarck for that, because I'm stressed out just thinking about it. But I bet Lori and Maureen, oh my God, they're a hoot, man. I would drive with them to Schenectady. I really would. Not with my family. I love my family, but I would totally drive with Lori and Maureen to Schenectady. We would have to have a Bismarck or 2, or maybe 3. Absolutely. Now, before I wrap up my day with Steve Perry, I do have to give a huge shout out to Gary Stuckey. Gary, I really, really wish that I got to meet you today, and you have a lot of people who truly love you. It's understandable why, because you're a super nice human being. I'm really sad that I didn't get to meet you today, and a lot of the other people that were at the event who know you and follow you and watch you, they would have loved to have met you too. So maybe we can do like a Gary Stuckey meet and greet, because you just have a great way about you. You're like the biggest Steve Perry fan ever. Well, no, I shouldn't say that because now I'm gonna get beat up, but you know your stuff. It's just really nice to have gotten to know you a little bit over the past few months, and I appreciate you. Everybody appreciates what you do. So again, Gary Stuckey, thank you so much. Next time we gotta meet. We gotta get together, and it would be so fun if we could do a chit chat. Maybe you can sit in Steve's stool, Gary Stuckey. I would love for you to come sit here. You know what, Gary? You come here to Rhode Island, I'll get you a Bismarck. I'm not gonna share with you though, because you know why? I don't think Steve would like it. I have to reserve half of my Bismarck for Steve. I would give you your own Bismarck, Gary. I would do that for you. I would. Yeah. So wrapping up the day, what about the meet and greet, Kiki? What the heck? Like, tell us about your moment meeting Steve Perry. Guys, it was so fast, I don't even remember it. I remember it, but literally, they scooched you up. Our table was like the last to go. We were the last table in the venue. We were way back, and then we were the last table to get called to go to the meet and greet. Obviously, by that time, Steve had it. He's like, I'm kind of done. You would think, right? So we got scooched up. Okay, come up here a little bit more so then you can just fly in there. So literally, it was a out the door. Get out. Get out in the pouring rain, stick your coat on your head, move it on out. It was quick. Of course, Steve was a complete gentleman. I got my picture taken with him, and my husband was just so nice. He gave up his photo op to let me take 2 pictures with Steve. You gotta say, how lucky are you when you have a great partner by your side? So I really appreciate that. Thank you. Mwah. Thank you, Al. Honestly, I'm trying to think, what did I even say to Steve? I don't remember. I just know that I was in front. Here he is. Like, here's Steve Perry. All I know was just a moment. It was just that moment. Really. All I've been talking about, the moment, the moment, the moment. It was a moment. And I have to say, I'm so grateful I had that moment. I am so grateful for today. I am so grateful that I made a bunch of new friends. I am grateful that a ton of money was raised for Gloria Jeff. I did forget to mention that when Light Rock 105 announced how much money was made today, it was over $18,000. I apologize, I don't have the exact figure. I think it was like $18,650, but I was in the back, so I could not see what the exact number was. And then what did Steve Perry do? What did Steve Perry do? What did amazing Steve Perry do? Turned around. Here's a check from the Steve Perry Foundation for $20,000. This is just the type of man that he is. He is there to support cancer research. He is there to try to find a cure for the love of his girlfriend, and I think just because he's that good of a person. I think I was in front of him maybe 20 seconds. I spit again, and I'm sorry. If it was even that long. But I think at the end of the day, it wasn't about that. Well, it was. I mean, of course I wanted to meet Steve Perry. I'm not gonna lie to you and say it wasn't about that. Of course I wanted to meet Steve Perry, but it just ended up as something completely different than I expected. It ended up as, again, connecting with some pretty awesome people. It was being there to help raise money for an amazing cause. And also, and as silly as this sounds, but not having my phone attached to my hip for 4 hours, it was pretty good. And guess what? I didn't miss anything by the time I turned my phone back on. So I do appreciate that. I do appreciate being able to be a part of this event today. I do appreciate any of you who watch this and any of you who have the same love of music that I do and try to just carry it on and bring yourself joy, bring anyone who you know is maybe feeling down, bring them some joy by allowing them to hear some great music. Of course, Steve Perry music. I love all classic rock and I love other types of music as well. I think just music in general, just again, it brings us all together and it keeps us grounded, connected. We were all here today because of music. People flew in today because of music. So Steve Perry, we thank you, we love you, and we appreciate everything you do for all of us and everything you've done for us over decades. Steve Perry, Journey, Lou Gramm, Foreigner, Eddie Money. So again, thank you. It was an amazing, amazing event. I'm so glad to have been a part of it. And for the love of Steve Perry, sing Oh Sherrie. That rhymed, but you know what? Who doesn't sing Oh Sherrie anymore? It's just a thing. You just think of Steve Perry and you sing Oh Sherrie. It's just constant. It's just, it really is a thing. And you know what? I gotta eat some more. Guys, have a great day, a great night, a great weekend, a great everything. And as always, remember, most importantly, to keep rocking.
I just love him. That's all I got.
That's it?
He's so sweet. He's so nice. He's genuinely nice. Yeah. Good.
So it was a good experience for you.
Oh, awesome. Right. The best.
How was it that you met Steve Perry? What do you think about the event?
I thought it was wonderful. It was for a great cause. For him to do such an intimate setting and to take time for each individual and get their picture taken and meet him, shake hands, have a laugh. So it was great.
And you came from where?
Came from Michigan.
To Rhode Island.
To Rhode Island.
To see Steve
To
Perry.
see Steve Perry.
So this was worth every minute.
Every minute, every penny.
It was wonderful to listen to all his experiences, all that he's been through. And whenever we got the chance to meet him, he was so warm and nice, and he held me really close to take the picture. So, I mean, I'm gonna go home happy and satisfied. But most of all, I met wonderful Perry sisters and brothers that we're gonna be keeping in touch and visiting and getting together with each other. And that's what makes the trip a much more even fulfiller situation and experience that I could expect for. So, excellent. Thank you, Kiki.